Paddy Quarter. A little bit of the vlog out and about. Yeah, wonderful stuff. Oh wow, here we are here at the lovely Equata site, and we're going to have a quick natter with Joanne, who is the lovely lady who is responsible for all of this. And if you're interested in throwing a few quid Equata's way, Joe will tell you exactly where to send it. Okay, Joe, tell them where it's at.
Where we got to go is localgiving.co.uk, I think, and then /Equata.
There you go. /Equata. Just giving /
Local giving.
Oh, damn it!
Local giving, not just giving. Local giving. /Equata.
I'm useless, aren't I?
And hello everyone, it's another evening, another fine evening for another Valhalla Cafe vlog. We'll see who's the usual suspects. I would imagine will start turning up anytime now. Hopefully we'll have a nice chin wag and a bit of a giggle as well as we go. But yeah, I hope everyone is well out there in the world of YouTube and in the world of Facebook. And first one coming in through the door is our, oh, there's more people going. Good God. It's Susie. Hello, Susie.
Hello. How's it all going?
Good. All good. Been working this morning. I'm a bit, the tank is low in juice, but we're hanging in there. We're hanging in there. And here comes Adrian. Hello, Adrian.
Hello, Adrian.
How you doing, Adrian? You're down below. You're down below us.
I'm not even getting involved with all that tonight. I'm up here.
Don't blame you. It's confusing.
I'm not biting.
Huh?
It's Paul.
There's Paul, and Paul is exactly down there, and AD is over there, and I think we're okay with that one. Anyway, so Paul, how you doing?
Not too bad.
What's been happening? What's been happening? I can see the Jaeger. I can see the Jaeger behind you.
Oh yeah, you've.
There
Yeah.
You stare at the screen again.
I've had to banish my two into the kitchen. They have been driving me around the bend all
No.
Joys of being a dog owner.
For what I took the two of them out for a walk earlier on, and Louis would not fucking come back. I was screaming at him, and he does this. So once I got him back onto the lead, that was it. I was like, "You little shit." So
Get back in the house.
but she picks up on the vibe. If I'm not 100% sort of relaxed and chilled and all the rest of it, she kind of goes a little bit weird. So she's got a bit weird, and she was getting all fussy, and she wanted to jump up, and she'd jump up, and then she'd fuck off again, and then he starts whipping behind me. So I thought, fuck off, you fuckers, get into the kitchen. So they're in there with some treats.
I don't think this was supposed to be family friendly.
Well, my banishing the dogs to the kitchen because they're doing
Your language.
Oh right. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, we'll be
Well, we're not going to get monetized on YouTube, I'm guessing, so it's fine.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think we've got enough viewership just yet to get monetized.
I think
to worry about that anyway.
our record is 15 or something like that, but it's a good 15, and those people matter.
It's the best
those,
15.
Those people matter. But yes,
It can only go up.
It can only go up. Yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, what have we got to gun bump about tonight? I'm bringing the Viking hygiene subject and the whole thing of the beautiful beardiness, which
I think what we really need to know is how did Vikings quarantine and also wear face masks? How many did they keep to a bubble in Viking times?
I
The government
think
needs to know.
most likely in the days of the Vikings, when there was viruses and whatnot going around, they took it in their stride. They built their own natural immunity.
I just got on with it.
Yeah, strange concept that, just getting on with things.
Getting on
Mm.
with it, yes. We don't have dissenting voices here. We are compliant
We love the British
with
government.
Well, I think
everything the government says.
in fairness, where they started off in a bubble of more than 6, and within 5 minutes they'd slaughtered most of them,
Yeah.
so it was no longer.
They self-produce their own bubble.
There is a little bit. There is something to that. Yes. No virus would go near a Viking. Would that? Would it? Really? Really?
Not that I'm advocating mass slaughter, obviously.
But
But they weren't. They weren't ones for well, I suppose they were. I don't know. Did they wear masks? Didn't they wear masks? I don't think there's any contemporary accounts from that period of time that said that they would have worn masks or they would have socially isolated or anything like that.
Excuse me a moment. Milo has chosen his moment to go out.
That's fine.
Oh, typical.
Your dog's needs are paramount. Never mind our viewing public. But anyway, yes. Never mind. Yes. What we'll have a brief touch on this evening is the Vikings' beardage and the depictions of and the references to the coiffuring and the tidiness of said Vikings, and when they made their stand on the mainland of the UK, they got the Anglo-Saxon ladies all of a dither and a fluster because they were immaculately coiffured and trimmed, and they bathed on a Saturday, which was a unique thing that these ladies had never experienced before, because their menfolk would just kind of like wallow in their own kind of like filth and dirt and whatever the Anglo-Saxons do and whatever. You know, you can smell them before you see them, you know, those kind of people. And that's what they were used to. And all of a sudden, these Vikings turn up and they've got lovely hair and beards and it's all combed and their kit's clean, and they're like, what the fuck's going on here?
What you're trying to tell me is that the Viking invasions were the first thrust of the hipster invasions into the UK. It's beautiful, man. They just keep coming.
They could be, but the actual there's a reference to the no, there are some ivory carvings like on walrus tusks and on antlers and stuff like that, where they depict Vikings with their conical helmet, and they've got very neatly curled hair, and their beards are all trimmed, and their moustaches are all nicely groomed out.
Have similar things, don't they? They've got a very similar style to them with the beards and like the names helmet things. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a saga called the Brynnu Njal saga that discusses this gossiping beggar woman, and in her rantings she talks of the farmer Njal, who is beardless. He doesn't have the follicles on his face to actually produce a nice healthy bushy beard, but subsequently he is married and he has 6 or 7 sons. I can't remember the exact amount of sons that he has, but she remarks on the fact that the sons are getting ready to go to battle or some war or whatever, whilst their servants or their slaves are in the fields and they're fertilizing the land with dung. So I would imagine that would be cow dung or horse dung. So she makes the flippant remark about placing some dung on the chin of said Njal so that it might help him to grow a beard from his chin. So from then on, the beggar woman decrees that he should be known as Njal the Beardless, and that her sons should be called the what were they called? The dung chins of Njal rather than sons. So that's part and parcel of the thing called the Brynnu Njal's saga, and it just centers around aspects of this thing where you're going to be groomed and all of that. Also, there is a thing called, or there's a book of laws, which is called, I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's called the Gragas, or the Book of Laws, and this also makes reference to keeping yourself clean and tidy, but it also makes reference to the way that ladies wore their hair, and there was specific references to ladies not having short hair. It was prohibited by laws so that women should not look like or be mistaken as men. So there would be no confusion in the community. So ladies that kept their hair short, it would be an offense against the laws of the community, because it would create a certain amount of confusion. There is references to women having thick, fair hair going down below the shoulders, and this was seen as a very, very positive thing, was a very feminine thing. So women that cut their hair like really short and whatever were probably also wearing comfortable shoes. Kind of thing, I don't know, but yeah. It's also body modification. They were into body modification, and this ties into Harold Bluetooth. We all have Bluetooth, some equipment somewhere about our personage or in the house. Now, what the Vikings did do, and it comes from archaeological finds from the graves, especially in Sweden, where they're finding skulls with the teeth having been filed horizontally. And subsequently, what they believe is that they used dye to fill in these grooves in their teeth. And it's thought now that it might very well be that Harold Bluetooth wasn't given the name because he was having that his teeth were rotting. It may very well be that he had this particular body modification done, and he had dyed the grooves thus a blue color, which gave rise to him being called Harold Bluetooth. I'm Bjarni No Tooth because I was missing one, so that's where we are with that one. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Adi? You're looking very deep in.
No, I'm just that's cleared up the whole question over whether or not it was the fact that he had good mobile reception. So no,
absolutely, and he paired easily with most devices.
That's absolutely wonderful. And the obviously the other thing, the short hair and that with the ladies.
Yes.
My cousin Debbie would have been in a lot of trouble.
Really? Is she skinhead?
she has not only short hair but a beard.
Really? Wow.
Yes. I mean, she'd have been welcome on most raiding parties, I think.
Wow. Whatever
She'd have had
whatever
a few
the most,
she'd have had a few monks confused, I can assure you.
you don't want to be, well, you never know what those monks got up to. It's what happens in the monastery stays in the monastery.
Absolutely.
I've got to say about that. But yeah, we're going to be touching on the Havamal before we finish up. This one's going to be a short one. We've got a little while left, but we're going to be talking about one of the or two of the Viking worlds. I think somebody has gotten themselves some information on that.
I wonder who.
He says, taking a drink.
So what do you got, Paul? I'm looking down at you.
Yep. Well, it's weird because you're over there, so it's like I'm looking at you, Paul, with your purple
Looking
hair.
at you now. Oh, I've got you. You're down below. Look, I'm going to drop some pop in your head.
It's a bit of a weird one actually, because I expected these to be a bit the other way around when I was actually looking into these. Because I started off with Alfheim. We don't actually know that much, even in the sagas apparently. All we really know is that, let's say, home of the elves. That wasn't obvious, but this is a pretty common thing among like pre-Christian Germanic religions. The elves were treated like as demigods, basically, similar to that sort of status. But nothing is really described too much about it. All we really know is that there's some vague allusions to Freya being the lord of Elfheim, and that they're more beautiful than the sun. So we get this idea that possibly quite bright, quite beautiful. But it got me thinking that this is probably where we get a lot of our information from regarding a lot of fantasy stuff, because this is where the little nerd in me started kicking off. You've got in Lord of the Rings, I forget, the first place you go to, is it Lothlorien? And I'm pretty sure they call that elf home, which, you know, is basically just jumbling the words around a bit more. Yeah, literally the same sort of thing. And even in the film, you've got big sun-kissed forests and like everyone's beautiful, graceful, fair-skinned.
Yeah, and they live for extended periods of time.
Yeah. The one thing which did, because I come from a big fantasy background, so when I hear dark elves, light elves, I start thinking, D&D, you got your drow, you got your wood elves. But when I first read some of the bits, apparently there was like worship of elves wasn't unheard of, because there's some mentions in the Helga and the Edda of people sacrificing things to the elves as both a way of causing and healing illnesses, apparently.
Okay.
I mean, from what I can tell, it mentions there's some references to them causing them just because that's what they do. But they would respond to sacrifice in Cormac Saga. So apparently it wasn't completely unheard of to literally offer things to the elves to, say, heal a family member or to, you know, make someone you dislike ill.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Very interesting.
But what got me curious is, when there's a lot more on, let's see if I can pronounce this right, Svartalheim. Svartalheim?
Svartalheim.
Svartalheim, there we go. Because apparently it's got another name as well. Nidavellir? Oh. But even though it calls them black elves, which of course to me jumps out as like drow or something like that,
Yeah.
It's more what we'd consider, let's say, contemporarily as dwarves. They're
Okay.
described as squat, short folk who are master smiths, live underground
Yeah.
in massive labyrinthine. It's never explicitly stated, but viewed often as underground complexes of maze-like labyrinthine mines and forges.
Yes.
But also, because this I didn't know, apparently downward and north are associated as the same thing in the sagas. So a lot of it's assumed that they had these massive golden halls underneath the ground.
Yes.
But where was it again? So yeah,
This where Thor got his hammer forged.
yeah, I was about to say because apparently there's some dispute about some of the things regarding Snorri, because apparently he was one of the few people to actually refer to it as Svartalheim, where most other sources use Nidavellir, but also Sindri, as you mentioned, who's assumed to be the creator of Mjolnir.
Yeah.
He actually refers to a golden hall in God, I hate trying to pronounce this off the top of my head, Svartalheim. That was the name of the hall itself rather than the maker.
Yeah.
But apparently he's also known to have created Glimbersti, who was a golden bristled boar who could fly as well in water and air, as well as
Gullenbursty, yeah.
Yeah. And also Drupnir, which was a ring which at night dropped 8 more rings, which this is what started to interest me, because this is where I start getting flashbacks to uni. Because in Dungeons and Dragons, there's an underground race of dwarves who live in giant labyrinthine columns, who are evil, dark-skinned, and I think they're called Svartalfims or something like that.
Yeah, so they are linking to the mythologies, aren't they?
Yeah, I was wondering where that, I think like Svartal Blues or something like that. And yeah, quite literally, black-skinned elves live underground. I'm pretty sure one of them does have a golden boar. And
yeah, Gullenbursty, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, well, where do they get the ideas for these things? And then suddenly you start seeing these links. I mean, it's like most people, it's pretty shameless if you actually like take the time to look. But of course, most people aren't gonna like look at that. But it's all really surface level stuff.
It's almost like descended memory.
Yeah,
coming down through, encoded into the people's DNA or whatever. So it's like some sort of like weird manifestation of the ancient mythologies remembered or encoded down through all our DNA all over Western or Northern Europe or whatever the case may be, and then it all coming out in a different format further on down the line. Who knows? Who knows? But like we're going back to try and sort of like not re-establish our, the old ways or anything like that, but to learn and draw some sort of meaning from it to give our understanding a little bit more of a grip on the whole thing, because it's such a massive subject. It really is. It's a lifetime study.
Even one of my lecturers, he was big on Tolkien, and one of his huge talks was on just how much has basically been lifted wholesale and just paused over. I mean, I never saw it, but just thinking here, I mean, I know in Lord of the Rings it was who was it who made the One Ring again? I forget. Was it Celebrimbor?
Yeah. Who?
Celebrimbor, was it, who made the ring originally?
Karen.
Yeah, I think it's Celebrimbor. But then I think about it, like you got a ring which makes 8 rings at night, so you've got 9 rings, and
That's
I'm
right.
pretty sure it was 9 rings given to men, and
Yeah.
yes, it's all got these relations back to itself.
Isn't Tolkien supposed to have created a whole language before he started writing Lord of the Rings?
He created several languages.
Dude had a big fascination with language.
Mm.
He was a linguist. He was a linguist by profession, and he studied loads and loads and loads of dead and ancient languages. But he was a specific, I would say, his specific interest was in Anglo-Saxon, or very early Anglo-Saxon, which more or less gave rise to the English language. But he was able to develop at least 2, maybe 3 unique languages that were used by him in the various books that he wrote, and the writing of which, and all of the grammar and everything he did. So that's
that was another thing which jumped out at me as well. So I don't know how much, because I haven't read Lord of the Rings in forever, or The Hobbit, but you do see a lot of this sort of what would you call it? Like this imagery they've gone for in the films, especially like let's say Svartalfheim's described as being like big golden opulent halls. And you literally have 2 examples of that, like in Lord of the Rings and in The Hobbit. You've got what's it called again? There's like the big dwarven halls they go to.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Not Helm's Deep.
Yeah, I think
you've got where the dragon lives. It's literally just gold.
That's right. Yeah, that's Smaug's lair or whatever.
Smaug's lair. Yeah, you've got like it's just gold everywhere. You've got giant golden doors, golden statues, and it's always specifically gold. It's not really precious gems or anything like that. A lot of it's all metals, which
that's what the dwarves liked.
Yeah,
that's what the dwarves liked. Well, yeah, we've got certainly have some food there to be carrying on with for our next vlog, which we will record in a couple of weeks' time, and not a couple of weeks, in a couple of days' time.
Couple of days.
I will find it, but there is a very, very good explanation in this book of the tracing back of the languages and where they separate into what we now know as Scandinavian languages, German, and how it goes back and separates into what you were just saying, Saxon and English. But I will find that for next time.
Yeah, that would be good. And I think we've got a few verses of the Havamal to draw us to a beautiful clothes. And then what we'll do is in the next bit over, because it'll all be one great big vlog. So what you're seeing now, in about 5 minutes, we'll be nattering about what Susie is going to recite for us from the Havamal, ain't you, Suze?
Yes, I'm not mucking around with that.
Well then, Suze, you're a star. You're a star. Okay, I want you to quieten down now, Paul. Say nothing. And you, especially you, AD. Yeah. She's right up above you. She's sitting on your head. Just give your head a bit of a wipe. She's just spat on your head. That's it. It's gone. It's gone. You're fine. Good.
Oh dear. Okay, we ready?
We're ready.
Young and alone on a long road, once I lost my way. Rich I felt when I found another, man rejoices in man. A kind word need not cost much, the price of praise can be cheap. With half a loaf and an empty cup, I found myself a friend. 2 wooden stakes stood on the plain. On them I hung my clothes. Draped in linen, they looked well born, but naked I was a nobody. Too early, too many homes I came, too late it seemed to some. The ale was finished, or else unbrewed, the unpopular cannot please.
Wow.
And that is the first 4 stanzas of the Havamal.
The first 4 stanzas of the Havamal. So we will look at those and try and get into them and see what they mean for us in about 5 minutes time. So this has been pretty good. This has been pretty good. So guys, we will leave it there. We'll wrap it up. We will go and have a break, and then we'll be back in the next 5 minutes. How about that? There's Jaeger, who's just bounced back up onto the
Do you see me, Jaeger?
And I think I will go and forgive my dogs, let them come back in now that they've calmed down a little bit, and hopefully I'll get half an hour's peace before it's time for Sharon into bed. Another early start tomorrow, so I'm working in Northampton tomorrow, so Monday morning blues.
I'm back in the office tomorrow, so yay!
Monday morning blues. Monday morning blues. Okay, guys.
Indeed.
Right, signing off. Okay, so
We'll see you soon.
it is also the way of Blood Axe.
This is the way of Blood Axe.
The way of Blood Axe. God damn it! Ta-ra! We'll see you.